going on, guys? Sparrow here today, and today we're going to be reacting to Scribbler's first contribution to Month Macabre. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Vampiolence, like vampire and violence. Vampiolence. Okay, I don't know anything. All I know about this is that it was released, well, it started back in 2015, according to Scribbler, as it was a challenge by, I think, Lost to do a like a fic that can't be a fic. Basically, it's a Octoscratch. I know it's or excuse me, hang on a second. Yeah, it's Octoscratch. Octoscratch. It's an Octoscratch. I guess Grimdark. I'm not sure. It's a vampire-based one, of course, because normally DJ Pon3 is Final is portrayed as a vampire, so I have no idea what to expect here. I'm just looking forward to getting spooked, and yeah, hopefully the volume is okay and all that stuff. I'll make sure later on, but we'll see. Anywho, let's get this started. 3, 2, 1, start now.
Hey you! Yes, you, watching this video.
There's animation.
Want to own a piece of Scribbler? Only not a lock of hair or blood or flesh or anything else that will get you in trouble with the law? Well, now you can, with t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags and mugs featuring Obab Scribbler at her Teespring store. You know you want to. I shall now stop talking in first person and send you on to the video.
That's just cute.
Each other and enjoy the show.
But I know nothing about this story. Absolutely nothing. All I know is it's Octoscratch, and that's it. And vampire-based, apparently. Alright. I need to listen. Chapter 1. Well, that's creepy.
Vinyl knew something was wrong the moment she stepped through the front door.
That's Ilya, I believe.
The empty hallway threw her voice back at her.
Tabby? Are you
That's
home?
Lost.
She should have been back from practice hours ago. The clock on the wall read just after 11. Vinyl would have winced had the fur on the scruff of her neck not been raised.
Yeah, that's Ilya.
The air was wrong. It was too quiet. Plus, all the lights were off. Octavia hated the dark. Whenever she was home, lights blazed even in rooms she wasn't in. Vinyl wasn't sure why she hated the dark so much, but she had never questioned an excuse to snuggle tighter under the cover.
Shep.
She eased the door shut behind her. Every instinct told her to be on guard. She was usually very good at ignoring raw instinct, but right now her guts were clenched so tight she could barely breathe. Something was wrong. Both instinct and intellect told her something was very, very wrong here. She was nearly at the kitchen when she smelled it.
Death?
There was no mistaking that coppery tang in the air.
Blood.
She knew it better than the insides of her own lids when she shut her eyes. Blood. Vessels strained to pop behind her
Blood
eyes.
has a more... I've heard it's got a stronger, like, irony smell.
The limiters was still in place.
I wouldn't know, honestly.
Just like always. The loop was still intact. Even after all this time, buried under so many layers, she worried about doing something that could give her away. Or worse,
yeah, I see that the picture's slowly rising.
Break the loop. Right now, however, too much of her was panicking to even think about how she looked. Blood in her house? In her home? How? Why? Whose?
Tabby?
Alarm washed through her. She kicked the kitchen door open with
Wait
such
a minute.
force that the handle lodged in the wall and stayed
So I'm
there.
guessing Vinyl is a vampire,
Blood scent
and her
entered
daddy
with
is
the
just who
same
killed
level of force, lodging in
Octavia
her nose and
through...
throat like
I'm guessing this is
barbs.
a nightmare.
Her nostrils flared, her eyes widened, her mouth became a shrinking zero of surprise and horror. She couldn't move. Damn it, she should be moving. Why was she just staring like a deer on a train track as the Canterlot Express barreled towards it? The pony on hind legs by the kitchen counter looked over his shoulder and smiled. It was, in all fairness, a nice smile. A nice smile and a nice face, even.
Okay.
One might even say it was a pretty smile, set as it was against a backdrop of white fur and eyes that crinkled at their corners. This face, those wrinkles seemed to say, smiles a lot. It wasn't until you got to those eyes that your opinion of the face changed.
Red eyes.
Even then, some ponies might not discern the truth. Ponies were not always perceptive when it came to spotting dangers amongst their own kind. They were a race focused outward, looking for hazards from outside their perfect little society. It was probably some throwback to a bygone age when they lived in herds and had never conceived of things like cities, houses, or mass murdering psychopaths. Ponies didn't kill. Ponies didn't hunt their own. Vinyl had always found it a useful trait to various ends of her own. The stallion's raw presence was intoxicating. He didn't even need to say anything. He just had to be, and ponies flocked to him. They never saw the pinpricks of cunning deep in those eyes.
Is
They
it like
didn't
Dracula?
recognize the calculation in his every nod and gesture. Mostly, they
It's like
never
a
got
Dracula
past the
pony
smile.
form?
Not until it was too late. Vinyl remembered that smile. She remembered it all too well. You're home!
Oh no.
His voice was as handsome as the rest of them.
I don't know who that's
A slight
speaking. I think
accent
that's
clung to his words. Not enough to be noticeable, but enough to make his speech patterns more formal
Solar Pony?
and attractive
What's his name?
to the ear. A true predator did not miss any trick, after all. We were beginning to think you were not coming, my dear. Were you
Yeah, it's like Dracula.
Vinyl tried very hard to keep herself steady.
Put her down, Voron.
Forum.
Well, that is a nice hello. And after I made such an effort to be civil, too.
Or is
Put
that
her
Goody
down
Serenade?
now.
The stallion shifted
Kind of
his
sounds
gaze.
like him a little bit.
Oh, but we were having such fun waiting for you to arrive.
I think that's Goody.
You always did have such good tastes, my dear. I see that hasn't changed.
Yikes.
He grinned.
Okay, I
And
kind of
mine
get where the
had a
story's
little
going.
taste.
Sorta.
You did keep us waiting for an awfully long time.
Octavia's eyes were huge with panic.
So pretty
She
much,
stared at Vinyl
she's
and
living
might have
a
run to
natural
her
life,
had he
and
not
Octavia
pinned her
doesn't
against
know
the
it, of
wall
course.
Beside the counter with all four
And it's a
wolves
dangerous...
over
Oh my
her.
god. Is it Twilight?
There was blood on her shoulder. It
Oh,
didn't
no.
show red, just darkened
I don't
her
care, I
gray
like
fur
Twilight,
to
but...
black
Well, not
dots,
Twilight Sparkle. Twilight the
where
book
Voron's
series.
mouth had been. A dark line traced a path
But
like filigree
it's what's
to her
feeling like to me.
hoof tip. She
Like,
had
Octavia
bled enough to
doesn't know
make spatters
anything
on
about
the
Vinyl's
floor.
backstory, and now it's being revealed.
She stuttered, terror robbing her of her usual confident speech.
Run!
Vinyl.
The chuckle
Is that her real name?
coated her name was like an oil slick.
Seriously. All the names in the world you could have gone with, and that was your choice.
Voron shook his head.
Voron.
So did you name yourself after the record or the fabric? No, wait, I see you have been drawing on yourself. Musical notes? The record then. I am disappointed in you, Vanelda. I thought you had more
Vanelda?
imagination.
Don't freak, don't freak, don't freak, don't freak, don't freak.
Vinyl's mind tripped over itself as she fought the simultaneous impulses to run, fight.
Wow, these names are
and
going to
just
be hard to
stand there.
remember.
That voice, that damned voice. She had spent too many sleepless hours trying to force it from her memory. And now here it was. Here he was. Here. In her kitchen. In her home.
Cat's out of the bag.
He couldn't be here. She couldn't let him be here.
Stupid, stupid, stupid. This is all my fault. I should have guessed. I should have known.
Vinyl swallowed back her recrimination.
You find out eventually.
Put her down. You know you don't want her.
Don't I?
She just wants to...
Voron's tone remained playful. It was a thin veneer.
No. You want me.
Octavia looked between the two of them. She had no idea. She had no friggin' clue. Oh, she had an inkling of how much danger she was in. Her bleeding shoulder and fear stink told Vinyl that much. Yet, she didn't know the rest. She didn't know who Voron was,
Voron?
what Voron was, or why he was here. Otherwise, she wouldn't be telling Vinyl to run.
Okay.
Or maybe she would. This was Octavia, after all.
This is going to be very hard for me to memorize these names.
She had fought him. She had fought him hard. Somehow that pleased Vinyl. No way would her girl go down without a fight.
No freaking way.
Except this was Voron, and that was a very, very stupid way to think. If he had allowed Octavia to fight back, it wasn't because she posed an actual threat. 99% of all he did was purely for his own amusement or gain. The remaining 1%, Vinyl didn't even want to think about that.
Oh no.
The word became a purr in Voron's throat.
Offering yourself up? Trying to exchange yourself? How noble.
That's gotta be gold. That's gotta be duty.
He pulled her closer. Vinyl's entire spine prickled with panic and anger. He nuzzled into Octavia's throat, inhaling the terrified Earth pony's scent like a kitten finding a nice spot to nap.
I was wondering whether you'd set up house here with a pet. It was the most palatable option I could think of
So
when I
has
first
he
tracked you down.
killed her? I still
Do you
think this
know
is a
what I
nightmare.
saw when I first spotted you in this squalid little bit of suburban nightmare?
His lip curled, revealing a hint of curvature beneath. Octavia trembled.
I saw you carrying groceries of all things through the front door. Brown paper bags. Utterly mundane. Utterly not you. But a pet would be acceptable. Tell me she's a pet, Vanelda.
No.
Tell me you haven't been as stupid as I suspect you have.
Vanelda. I'm gonna have a hard time remembering that one.
What's going on?
Vinyl glared as if the strength of her eyes alone was enough to floor him.
Put her down.
Voron sighed.
Oh dear. I had hoped you had not fallen into such triteness as to shack up with a mortal for some subpar romance novel reason. Please do not tell me you love her, Vanelda.
Oh no.
That would be too cliché, even for you.
Oh crap.
Vinyl didn't
Well, this is kind of
answer.
cliche itself.
What was she supposed to say? Either confirming or denying the
I mean,
truth.
I bet he's like
but only
the
in
head
bad ways.
honcho and
The old urge
she's
to
like breaking the
comply
law or
rose
something like that. Like she didn't
inside
choose
her.
this life and
She shifted her gaze,
yeah,
avoiding
it's
meeting
causing all
his
sorts of
eyes
conflicts.
directly.
Keep it together.
It's like breaking
That's
law.
not you anymore. You don't have to do what he says. Just keep it together.
Oh.
Much like how the
dear,
Cullens
dear,
in
oh
Twilight
dear.
chose to
Voron
not,
pulled
you know,
away from
consume humans
Octavia,
anymore.
shaking his head.
They basically
And
went after
here
animals.
was I, thinking we were going to be reunited amidst declarations that you had finally seen the error of your ways and planned to come back to where you belong.
Octavia, man, she looks
He
terrified.
smiled. There was less
Great artwork,
warmth
by the way. I
in
don't know
it
who
than a
did the art.
blizzard.
To me, I did, after all, think you were gone from this world. I am so...
He paused, as if to relish the word.
happy to find I was mistaken.
Lionel?
Octavia's
I was so
cheeks
happy to
were
find
wet.
that I was mistaken.
She wasn't gulping air the way she did when she was upset. Or
Is he gonna
like
do
when
what I
she
think
got
he's
so
gonna do?
angry she made
Is
herself
it a
cry
dream
with
or a
frustration.
nightmare in this case?
Terrified tears
That's what I'm
leaked
thinking.
silently from the corners of her eyes.
Like
This vinyl
PTSD
name,
for Vinyl
I do not like it.
or
Stop calling
Vanelda.
her that.
Voron shook her for good measure. Octavia's head joggled like a balloon on a stick.
Voron, stop this!
Vinyl cursed the desperation that crept into her voice.
Why do you not call me Daddy, Vanelda?
Oh, shit.
Anyone would think you do not care for me at all.
Vinyl couldn't look away from Octavia.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have told you. I should have been honest, but how could I?
This is like Twilight.
Could you have even believed me?
Edward protecting
And even
Bella.
if by some miracle Octavia had believed the wild and
That was her
crazy
name.
story, what then?
Yeah.
She would have left Vinyl. Or if she hadn't, she would never have had peace of mind again. The truth would have stolen something from both of them that they could never get back. The only debatable things were what and how much. Voron glanced back at Vinyl. The sudden movement dragged her attention away from Octavia. The whites of his eyes had darkened to pink.
She's gonna try and
She recognized the
hypnotize her,
sudden
isn't
burst
he?
of anger, thinning the pupils into slits. Her stomach lurched. She took an involuntary step forward, foreleg raised as if she wanted to pull him off. It was the worst thing she could have done.
I thought so.
Voron's
That's
mild tone
Goody's
did not
right.
match his expression
That's
at
Goody.
all.
You have fallen for this one.
Definitely now.
Vanelda.
Oh,
My
no.
poor dear little Vanelda.
Let her go.
Do you not know that this is pure foolishness? Lay with mortals,
What do you
certainly,
know?
but never fool yourself into thinking you love them.
Pink shadowed into red as he turned his attention back to Octavia, hugging her tight against him
Oh, boy.
like a lover.
She has your heart.
Oh,
Octavia's chin rested on his shoulder, facing Vinyl. She opened her mouth to speak again. Faster than Vinyl could blink, Voron's elbow jutted back and then forward. A solid wet
Ouch.
crunch echoed off the kitchen walls.
Oh.
The cry
What did
ripped
she-
from Vinyl
or-
as Octavia gasped
What
and
did she-
sagged.
Whoops. I think I just broke hers.
You son of a bitch. It was a dream, wasn't it?
He came for her the night of the festival. She was wearing the frock Mother said she had worn at her age.
Okay.
She hadn't inherited Mother's dark fur, but the yellow fabric looked just as good against white. She laughed and pranced about as Mother tried vainly
Vinyl's
to tie
backstory is a
ribbon to her
vampire.
tail.
Okay.
Winter song.
Mother laughed.
Hold still, or you should look like a mess.
That, I think, is Gina M.
Sending off the fireworks soon. Mother, why must I wear a ribbon at all? You look pretty in ribbons.
Oh, I don't know who that is. I think that's
Foolish.
Kate.
Stupid. Pretty.
Mother insisted.
That
pulling
sounds
her
very
close
much like
with
Kate
magic.
Buck.
It always
I don't know. I
went
didn't
like
look.
that.
I didn't look at that
Magic
cast.
was the only way she
Only
would
one I
keep
really knew was,
still
Vinyl.
long enough to be decorated. No
But this is
matter
a
how
kid
pretty
Vinyl,
the
so
dress,
it's a
nor
totally different voice
silky
actor.
The ribbon.
Mother.
Mother.
The cottage door smashed open.
Abusive
Both
father?
of them gasped. Instinctively, she hid behind her mother's skirts. They had each dressed up for the festival, and the folds of fabric shielded her completely from whoever was trotting inside.
Now what manner of ill-bred equine would...
Mother
That's
stopped
Scribbler.
abruptly.
You...
She said in quite a different tone.
Think.
Good evening, Spring Blossom. My, but you do look quite lovely tonight.
Okay.
Are you going somewhere?
No. No, you can't be here. This isn't... How did you find me?
A fine greeting after I came all this way and paid you a compliment.
This is too soon. She's only a filly.
The stranger sighed.
Soon is relative. My arrival is not too early by my estimation, merely yours.
You said her 18th birthday. You promised that you would do nothing until she came of age.
And you said
Yeah.
you would raise her in luxury. This cottage seems
Yeah, he's a
somewhat
liar.
less than the finery in which I first found you. Did you truly think that you could hide her from me, Spring Blossom? For shame.
When you told me if I kept your secret, I could. You said 18.
I have changed my mind.
You cannot.
I assure
think
you
that's
again, my
Scribbler.
dear, that I most certainly can. You speak as if we are equals who sat down to parley and discuss terms.
Oh shit.
Any terms of our agreement were never yours to define. It suited me then for you
Why
to
is this
take
reminding me
care
of The
the
Strain
business of
now? Because
raising her,
vampires,
while I attended other concerns away
deals
from
that
this
go
land.
wrong.
I thought she would have
Like
access to
Icorst
high
tried to
society,
get immortality
would
but
be
ended up
accepted
getting his head
amongst
chopped
courtiers
off.
and nobles if she grew as one of them. Indeed, I also found it quite amusing that you thought you could blackmail me with my own identity.
So,
No doubt you thought relinquishing your family name and fortune would allow you to hide her
I'm
from me.
guessing
But you were wrong.
her
I
child
can always
is
find those who
Final,
have
for
my
one.
blood in their veins.
Or Vanelda,
Now
I
it
should
suits
say.
me to retrieve what is mine.
A
Therefore,
sacrifice?
I have come for her.
Sacrifice?
I will
Apprentice?
not let you. She's just a child.
You will not let me?
Well, her eyes are
stranger's
red,
voice
so
lilted
she
pleasantly.
apparently is part
It
of
sounded
this.
nice. Even as he crossed the floorboards in a few quick strides and shoved his face into Mother's, he sounded like he was complimenting the weather or asking politely for directions to the nearest ale house.
That's just the
You're
way
right.
that villains
She is a
approach their
child.
prey.
She is my child. Or did you forget that? Just look at her, Spring Blossom. Look at her and tell me she's not mine.
Please, you have others. You said you had others. And she's so young. Please, leave her. Leave her with me just a little longer.
So that you may
Teammates.
spirit her away and try to hide again? I think not.
At least let her grow up first.
Even in The Strain, Icorst had this kind of accent.
This was always
German.
the way things were going to be, Spring Blossom.
Even though I don't think that's a German accent, I think that's Transylvanian or something like that.
Arrive 11 years before
Like
you
normally
expected
vampire
me is neither here
language.
nor there. I was always going to come for her. Or did you think that hiding yourself away in this little hovel and getting out of your fine clothes only for festivals would buy you more time? Did you intend to fool me when her 18th year came?
He's one
Did
intimidating
you
villain.
honestly think
I don't know if
you
he's a
could
villain,
keep her
actually.
from me by pretending
Well,
you were a
technically he
peasant?
is.
You? Nobility shines through even the worst grime, my dear.
God, this poor.
You are as lovely as the day I chose to woo you.
Is she a
You
unicorn?
chose to make me your brood mare.
And yet I did not see you cast her off a cliff. Others before you have done as much.
Huh?
Or taken themselves off to die when they find themselves bearing my folds and the truth wriggles in their bellies. Some even die.
Wow, this is
trying
almost
to rid
like-
themselves of their pregnancy.
Again, back to The Strain.
But you,
The Born.
I do not think that even crossed your thoughts.
Because the Born was created from the
You were always
master,
so soft,
basically,
Blossom.
infecting a
In
pregnant
truth,
woman.
I
While the
am
baby was still in the
surprised you
womb, it
gave up
became
your
half
wealth so
vampire
easily
and
to keep
swore
her
to
from me.
kill his father,
Or
which was the
me from
master.
her. Clearly, you did not mind laying with me so very much. You were willing to raise my cat and safeguard her like some precious thing, even after you knew the
Oh, they're
truth.
pink. That ain't red.
What is her name?
Please, leave us. Let her be normal.
So I think Final has got her father's eyes, if that is her father.
To be your normal is to be weak.
Apparently it is.
I will teach her to be strong. I will make her strong. Strength is her birthright.
It doesn't have to be. If you leave her here with me, she could be a normal pony.
The stranger clicked
Again,
his
that's either
tongue
Scribbler or
against
Gina
the
Elm.
roof
It sounds
of his
like one
mouth.
of those.
I'm tired of this. Fall, what is your name?
Suddenly, Mother's skirts were gone, and she was exposed. She stared up at the stranger. The crash of a finely dressed body against the wall made
Oh, no.
her tremble.
Don't do that. Don't
The
do it.
candle
Don't do
lay
it.
on its side on the floor. flame guttering. Mother had always told her to never let the flames touch the floorboards. She scrubbed those boards every week and was very proud of them. Now, wax dripped sideways onto the wood, and the candle flame licked greedily at them.
Here, little one.
Murmured the stranger.
Look at me. Look into my eyes.
No, don't!
Oh God.
Run!
Mother coughed as she stumbled to her hooves. Red stained her hairline.
Run! Run away and don't look back!
Red stained her
She
hairline.
couldn't move.
So
She was
apparently he's
transfixed by the
hit her
stranger's
hard or
peculiar
something.
eyes. They seemed almost luminous in the flickering glow. The whites darkened to
That
pink
is creepy.
as he murmured pleasantly at her.
Golly.
There we are. Good girl. You are a good girl, aren't you? You're my girl. My own sweet girl.
Oh Jesus
Her mouth ran
Christ.
dry. She couldn't even blink as she watched the pink bleed away into dark red, like some pony had held a glass of red paint in front of the flickering candle. The chair Mother had been sitting in slammed into the stranger. He hurtled sideways into the wall and slid down. Encased in sparkling blue magic, the chair rose again and smashed down on him.
Run now! Run, Winter Song!
Mother
Winter
shrieked at
Song.
her, horn aglow. As she ran, blinded by frightened, confused tears, she ran out into the darkening evening. Her
gosh.
tiny hooves ate up ground as fast as they were able. When she was halfway down the hill, she realized that following the path might be a stupid idea, and banked left, aiming for the forest
Yep,
tree
get off the
line.
path.
Mother!
She's dead.
A scream, abruptly ended, made her stop. It was the first of many mistakes she would make with him. He landed in front of her, as if from a great leap, eyes red from lid to lid, save for an incandescent white ring around each slitted pupil.
She's done.
He looked like a demon, risen straight out of Tartarus. She screamed and tried to run again. He had no horn or wings
But he does have
under his
powers.
cloak. She could outrun him. If she could just get to the village, then maybe she could.
Nope.
He overtook her madcap dash and plucked her up in his forehooves like she weighed nothing. She kicked and fought, but could do nothing more as he brought his face close to hers. The struggle ceased when he bared his teeth. A pair of pointed fangs gleamed at her.
Winter Song.
He said, thoughtfully.
Oh.
I do not like that name. It is a weak name for a weak pony who hides behind her mother like a coward. You shall have a new name to begin your new life.
What did you do to Mother?
Her voice came out a squeak.
Wait a minute.
You will think no more about her.
He said dismissively, as if simply saying it was enough to make it so.
He made her forget
That
about it.
life is over. Your real life begins now.
Real life?
The stallion smiled, his white mane fanned around his face, making strange shadows dance across his fur. Vanelda. Yes, I like that name. It means strength where I come from.
It is pretty.
I'm going to teach you how to be strong, Vanelda.
Does sound like a vampire name.
It is unfortunate that your sister died so unexpectedly, but things are what they are, and because of her stupidity, you will take her place at my side sooner and learn of your rightful place in this world. He pulled her in close.
No!
She didn't know what he was going to do, but the whisper of his breath against her throat reignited her struggles. He held her out again and shook her. Do not misbehave. I am your father. You will show me the respect I am due. She froze and
I
stared
honestly
at
can't
him.
tell if the one in the
Her
picture is
father?
final or the mother.
Mother had told her father died before she was born. It was why they lived in poverty. Father had not made a
okay.
will, and
It is.
Mother
That
had
is
lost
vinyl.
everything.
That is vinyl.
That was why she spoke so much nicer than the ponies in the village, but still
I get it.
worked
They're on the
for
road
them,
now. Duh.
cleaning their homes. That was the second mistake. She should not have met his gaze. It snagged like a hook into her eyeballs. Something inside her pulled towards him. A writhing, twisting, ethereal snake, slowly uncoiling in its burrow after a long sleep. He pulled her close again. This time she was pliant. Her neck burned. It felt horrible,
Oh, he
like the time she
converted
stayed
her.
out too long in summertime and had heat sickness. She gagged, especially when she heard swallowing close to her ear. Her vision was starting to gray out when he put her
Good
down.
grief.
She couldn't stand, but that didn't seem to matter. Firm hooves turned her face upwards and pulled at her lower jaw. The stallion's voice seemed to come from far away, but his hooves were a vice around her muzzle.
No daughter of mine will have half strength because she botched her own awakening.
She continued to cough and choke, eyes flying open. She couldn't breathe. She could barely think. The snake inside her was made of fire and hot metal. It thrashed and sliced through her organs. Her gorge rose. She tasted bile. Still, he held her mouth shut. The backs of her eyes prickled as she stared up at him, pleading to let her spit out whatever vile thing was shredding her guts. Gradually, the burning flowed outwards, spiraling down her legs and up into her head, lighting every nerve ending ablaze. She was made of fire and flesh and tears that ran and sizzled away in the flames of her own destruction. Her eyeballs were going to explode. His face and all the sky behind it tinted red.
I've never had a unicorn daughter before.
He purred.
Let's see if you're any stronger than the others.
And with her guts on fire and her mind in turmoil, she died for the first time.
For the first time. Okay, Voron, Winter Song, Spring Blossom, Goody, Ashley H. Okay, Party Blossom. There's one I don't know. Ilya, yeah, I knew that was who was narrating. Wow. What a start. What a start. Yep. What the fudge? No, I'll happily wait. I don't know what's going on in that picture, but whatever. Okay, that was Vampiolence Part 1. That was messed up. Like, okay, and this is only the beginning? Wow, I don't know what to think of what's coming. I mean, I kind of get what's going on a little bit, but at the same time, I kind of don't. So apparently the thing with Octavia was not a dream. That was real. That was reality caught up to, you know, where Vinyl was in life, or Vanilda, I should say. So, yeah, it tells her backstory. Well, the start of her backstory. Apparently, her mother, I don't know, made a deal with him or something like that, and there was something to do with the conceiving a child or something like that. I don't know what the heck is going on there. Hopefully, that's explained a little better. Also, if you're wondering who wrote this, yeah, Scribbler wrote it. That's, you know, a challenge. So far, so good. Very violent, very grotesque. Vampiolence. I guess that's how you say that. But pretty much, okay, Goody is doing a magnificent job as the Faron, I think is his name. He is a mischievous, or not mischievous, he's not, he is a messed up motherfucker. Yeah, I just said it. I tried not to swear. But he reminds me a lot of the Master and Icorst from the Strain, because one, they're both vampires. The Master is basically this immortal being that controls all, and he makes deals like that. Nothing to do with children, though. Basically, all he does is infects you, and depending on what kind of role you play, like Icorst was his right hand man. Like, he was the one who got crap done. The Master was like a very, very clever being that knew all, unless he was injured, and then yeah, da da da. So him and Icorst are very much alike. Although he reminds me more of Icorst because Icorst was very, very like witty, very, very violent, and he was very straight to the point. Like, he was ruthless because one, he's a, well, for one, the reason why the Master chose him was because he was a lead Nazi officer in World War II. So that's where he was infected, and that's where he basically became the Master's right-hand man by giving them the worm, which is what it was called. The worm was what would infect the victims, and it would just redefine their biology, which is what that was reminding me of. The snake, or I guess it's a metaphor for like the pain that she was feeling, like the poison, the venom. It would be venom. The venom that he put into her to kill her, pretty much. Well, for the first time. She died for the first time, so I'm guessing she tried to kill herself a few times, but we'll have to find out in the coming chapters. This was very good. Very nice start. Very messed up, but I'm loving it so far. That was very messed up, but yeah. Happy Halloween, guys. So anyways, yeah, that's all for now. I'll get back to this whenever part 2 comes out. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Hit the bell icon if you want more of this. And until next time, I'm out. And happy horse until next time.